I've been into the arts ever since I was a kid, and it manifested as I grew up in music. I'm a pianist by trade. I had my undergraduate education is in music. For as long as I can remember, I've enjoyed performing and playing music, and that's what brought me into my career. I actually spent some time as a touring professional musician. And then 2008 happened and the economy got a little less predictable, and I actually auditioned for an Air Force band and made it in. So I went through Air Force basic training like everybody else, and then joined a Glenn Miller style big band in the Air Force and toured the nation and the world. And then with an Air Force rock band, yeah, there are Air Force rock bands, went overseas and gave our troops a taste of home, and tried to bridge divides between communities and heal relationships, and do what only music could, and transcend cultural barriers, religious barriers, and any sort of differences. And, but before my trip to the Middle East, as a bandsman, I always talked about the healing and connected power of the music, of the arts, of music. But I didn't really, I just kind of said it. I didn't understand it deeply until I had the opportunity to perform for community members and dignitaries from other countries. And, I remember exactly where I was when it really snapped into place for me, where I understood, like, wow, this is a powerful thing. So I was in Kyrgyzstan. And I couldn't even point to it on a map right now, but I was in Kyrgyzstan. We were with a rock band, and we were playing at an arts middle school. And these people had nothing. They had secondhand instruments, and they were just so passionate, friendly, welcoming. And I couldn't think of, at least visually, a community or a culture that was more different than what I was used to growing up in Wisconsin. And just the way that they welcomed us with open arms, it was incredible. So we get to this arts middle school, and we're going to play a show for their music students, and their auditorium is on the third floor, and they don't have an elevator. So we get all our gear up there, and all the kids are helping us, haul cables and stuff, and then we get to the stage. And our power source is one of those, those brown extension cords with the two prongs that Grandma and Grandpa plugged their bedside lamp into. That's what they had for our whole power source. So we get set up, and the kids start walking in with their uniforms, and I'm thinking that we're gonna go over like a lead balloon. Like they're not gonna know how to receive what it is that we're, the U.S. based top 40 music. Like there's no way. So we start with what we thought would be the most accessible. We started with like a Michael Jackson medley. And I was very hesitant, but I tell you what, within about 5 seconds, it was like the Beatles' Invasion. And they're singing along to every single word. And it was incredible. And the next day we played for a bunch of Kyrgyz army officers and army training candidates, army officer candidates. And there were some tensions with our occupation there, with our bases present. Our base isn't there, and the Air Force base isn't there anymore. But there were some tensions there with locals, and we were there to smooth it over. And it was the same thing. We played a Journey medley, and everybody's singing along with every word. There were language barriers, there were cultural barriers, there were diplomatic barriers, religious barriers. Every barrier that you could imagine was immediately dissolved by us connecting with them. And I knew at that moment, like, there is real power. There is healing and connected power behind arts of all disciplines. And at that moment, my trajectory as a professional changed. I had other plans after I was going to come back from my deployment, and I wanted to go to LA and be a studio musician or whatever. But I did just 90-degree right-hand turn after that. It was eye-opening. So that's why I work in the arts now. Every single one of us, from sunup to sundown, engages with the arts. Every single member of this country, and you can't tell me otherwise. I mean, we wake up, we listen to music, we have art in our house, on our desktop background, on our computers, and on our phones. we read books, we listen to podcasts, we watch movies, we watch television, we watch plays, and everyone benefits from it. Whether you try to make a go of it professionally or you just use it in your development or for recreation, it connects us, it binds us, it makes our world a better place. And it also stimulates the living heck out of our economy. It drives folks' decision to move to a place. Is there an arts and culture scene? Is there a symphony? Is there a concert thing? Are there young, diverse professionals? Is there young, creative talent? It invites investment. It invites industry. There's really no end to the benefit for all of us in robust support of the Army. Prior to my deployment, I remember rolling my eyes when I heard the term, diplomatic or non-kinetic weaponry. That was our Air Force public affairs. That was our mission over there, was non-kinetic weaponry. Diplomatic, they had to associate everything with something weapon soundy, so diplomatic. Arts diplomacy. I rolled my eyes so hard every time I heard it, I went blind 12 minutes afterwards, But I saw it live and in person. It was a no-doubter. And my cynicism towards it just evaporated. It's really educational for me. It's arts, and it's also artists and artisans who have such a power to not only evoke a connectedness or an emotional response, but many of them also have a platform to inspire change, to inspire movement in communities. You can't tell me Taylor Swift doesn't have power and influence and the ability to inspire. It's the same thing with athletes. People say, shut up and dribble or just worry about the football or whatever. But all of our kids have posters of athletes or musicians or famous artists or all those people. There is a power, and in that power there is a responsibility to be a voice for good, and people resonate with and connect to the arts in a very profound and deeply meaningful way. And not only do the arts influence folks, but the practitioners of the arts influence folks. Americans for the Arts is the gold standard. Been around for forever, advocating for robust support of the arts so we can have thriving arts and culture sector, thriving creative economy. I had band instruments in my high school band due to funding that I know was due to vigilant arts advocacy. And so this, if I can in any way be part of this great movement and lend my voice to this movement, I'm honored to do it. It also gives me an opportunity to advocate for the greater Milwaukee area and represent them in Wisconsin, and make a case for expanded subsidy of the arts and support of the arts in our own community.